In working capital management, we normally have to draw a working capital estimate, or what we would call a statement of average working capital requirement. We have particulars, units, rate, and time, followed by amount. Now, in the working note, we normally need to make a cost sheet. All of these figures are normally on a per unit basis. We have particulars and can have amount or rupees per unit, up to you. Working capital at the end of the day is nothing but current assets minus current liabilities, which ends up giving us net working capital. The usual suspects under current assets is stock of raw material, work in progress, and finished goods. Apart from that, we normally have debtors and cash. Keep in mind, there may be any number of other current assets if they're mentioned in a question with some period of time. Only then they'll be included in this list. Most of the time, these are the items for current assets. So once we're done with them, we get total current assets, which we will take as A. Now, under current liabilities, if we have debtors under current assets, we'll have creditors. Right? We'll have creditors under current liabilities. Apart from creditors, we can have any number of outstanding expenses. It could be outstanding wages, it could be outstanding overheads, anything. Any outstanding expenses, we can list them all one after the other. Once we're done with that, we get ourselves total current liabilities, which we'll take as B. Now, total current assets minus total current liabilities gives us net working capital, and therefore we can consider net working capital as A minus B. Going forward, we have to calculate units. Units can be calculated based on the annual production number, which is given in the question. So we can take annual production upon time. Now, when we talk about time, if they say everywhere for raw material, work in progress, finished goods, we are talking about days, then time will be 365 or 360, what was given in the question. Similarly, if it is months, it will be 12. If it is weeks, it could be 52 or 50 or 48, depending on what's mentioned. Once we have this, our units column is looked after. As far as rate is concerned, we need to build the cost sheet. So while building the cost sheet, you need to keep in mind we have to deal with raw materials, labor, other overheads or expenses, after which we end up with total cost. To that, we factor profit and end up with selling price. Now, make things short, maybe we can call this RM, we can call this L, we can call this E, TC, SP. So raw material rate is going to be whatever we have placed in RM, and that same rate will apply to creditors because you have taken raw materials from your suppliers on credit. They are the ones who become your creditors. As far as work in progress is concerned, we have a formula for work in progress where we take the rate of raw material plus the rate of labor and expenses divided by 2. And the idea is that work in progress at any given point of time is 50% ready. So raw material going in, you have to put in the whole raw material, but the amount of labor and expenses incurred in making the finished product is only half, and therefore we stick to this formula. So we place whatever we get as WIP here. Finished goods are valued at total cost. Debtors are normally valued at selling price unless in the question they ask you to value it at total cost. As far as your expenses are concerned, whatever those relevant expenses are, you can mention here. Time is normally mentioned in the question. Only those items in current assets and current liabilities that have time will be factored in. Now, the idea is that you multiply whatever you get in units, rate, and time in order to get amount. Now, as far as cash is concerned, most of the time we get a number which is directly put in the amount column. Current assets, you will take a total. Current liabilities, you will take a total. Subtract current assets and current liabilities to get your net working capital. With that, you'll be done with the answer.